Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lie we've been fed for too long, that to be good, you must be soft, quiet, harmless. But I'm here to tell you the truth today. Absolutely, here's an expanded 500-word version of the controlled strength is virtue. Keynote, crafted with strong emotional depth, realistic tone, and motivational rhythm. Like a fire being slowly built to a roar, controlled strength is not only rare, it is sacred. It's a kind of power that's forged through fire and sharpened through pain. It's not about being the loudest in the room or the most physically intimidating. It's about mastering the storm inside you, that silent war between impulse and intention, chaos and order, aggression and restraint. That's where real virtue is born. Because strength without control, that's just destruction, but strength with purpose, that changes lives, that builds legacies. You see, a man who is incapable of causing harm is not virtuous. He's simply harmless. And there's no virtue in being unable to act. True virtue comes when you have the ability, the raw power, to break something, but you don't. Not because you're weak, not because you're afraid, but because you've chosen not to. Because your values are stronger than your emotions. That is what makes a man truly good. We've confused goodness with niceness, and that confusion is dangerous. Niceness folds under pressure. Niceness avoids conflict. Niceness lacks a spine, but a man of controlled strength. He stands tall when the world is collapsing. He doesn't avoid the fire. He walks into it knowing he has what it takes to lead others out. He doesn't suppress his strength. He refines it. He doesn't let his darker impulses control him, but he knows they exist, and that knowledge makes him wise. That balance makes him dangerous, and in the right way, the world doesn't need more passive men. It needs dangerous men who have learned to be kind, men who have walked with monsters and still chose to be gentle, because gentleness that comes from weakness isn't real, it's an illusion. But gentleness from a man who could crush you, yet offers you compassion instead. That's power, that's virtue, that's what creates safety, that's what earns respect when life throws chaos at you, and it will. It won't be the soft man who steps up. It will be the man who's built himself in silence, who's faced his fears in the dark, who's wrestled with his inner demons and come out stronger. That man won't panic, he won't flee. He'll stand between danger and the people he loves and say, not today. Why? Because he can, because he's trained for it, because he's dangerous, and in being dangerous, he's good. Controlled strength is not just a personal asset, it's a moral duty. It's about becoming someone others can rely on when everything else falls apart. Not through dominance, but through presence. Not through fear, but through earned trust, and that kind of strength. It doesn't show off, it doesn't need to. It speaks through actions, not words, through discipline, not drama. Through restraint, not rage, so don't be afraid to be strong. Don't apologize for your potential, but never forget. Your strength means nothing unless it's under control. Harness it, sharpen it, master it. Because when the time comes to protect, to lead, to rise, you'll be ready, not just as a man of strength, but as a man of virtue. Want this styled for a stage performance or voiceover? I can format it to match. Certainly, here's a 500-word emotional and motivational expansion of the myth of niceness, crafted with power, rhythm, and realism, designed to sound natural and impactful, like it would be delivered on stage or in a powerful voiceover. No subheadings, no conclusion, just raw energy. We've been told since we were kids that we need to be nice. Be nice to everyone. Don't make anyone uncomfortable. Keep the peace. And somewhere along the way, we started believing that niceness was the same as goodness. But let me tell you something, that's a myth. Niceness is not the highest virtue a man can aim for. In fact, niceness can be dangerous because niceness isn't rooted in strength. It's rooted in fear, the fear of conflict, the fear of rejection, the fear of standing up and saying, this is wrong. When everyone else is silent, a nice man might smile, nod, agree. But deep down, he's not choosing peace. He's avoiding risk. He's hiding, he's shrinking. That's not morality. It's self-protection dressed up to look like virtue. The truth is, being nice, it doesn't make you good. It makes you agreeable, and sometimes being agreeable is the worst thing you can be. Sometimes the world needs you to say no. Sometimes the world needs you to push back. Sometimes the world needs you to roar. But the nice man, he stays quiet, he avoids confrontation, and in doing so, he becomes part of the problem he's too afraid to face. Goodness, real goodness requires courage, it requires strength, it requires backbone. The good man doesn't just want people to like him. He wants what's right, even if it costs him, even if it offends someone. Even if it starts a fight, because he knows that truth matters more than comfort, that justice matters more than being liked, that integrity matters more than applause. Nice men avoid the fire, good men walk into it. Nice men say what people want to hear. Good men say what people need to hear. Nice men protect their image. Good men protect the truth, even when it hurts, and that's the difference. Niceness is fragile. It breaks under pressure, but goodness, that's forged in pressure, that's unshakable, that's the man who doesn't back down when things get hard, that's the man you trust when it all goes to hell. You don't become that man by playing it safe. You become that man by looking in the mirror and asking, who am I really? Am I just trying to be liked? Or am I willing to stand for something? Because a man who tries to please everyone will end up pleasing no one, not even himself. He'll feel the weight of all the words he never said, all the lines he never drew, all the moments he could have stood tall, but didn't. Don't fall for the lie that says being nice is enough. Don't sell your soul for approval. The world doesn't need more nice guys. It needs strong, good men who have the courage to speak truth, to take the hit, to be real. Be kind, yes. Be compassionate, yes. But don't ever confuse that with being nice. Because sometimes the kindest thing you can do is not be nice at all, absolutely. Here's a 500-word expansion of the warrior within, written with the emotional force and motivational clarity of a powerful stage speech or voiceover, designed to feel intense, inspiring, and deeply human. There's a warrior inside every man. It doesn't matter how quiet he is, how soft-spoken, how polite. He knows it's there. Buried beneath layers of daily routine and social conditioning, beneath all the pressure to stay calm, stay agreeable, stay civilized, there's a wild, roaring energy just waiting to be called upon. It's not violent by nature, it's not reckless, but it's primal, and it's powerful, and the man who learns to recognize that fire and master it becomes something unshakable. Most men today are told to suppress that part of themselves. To sit still, don't get angry, don't be too intense, don't push too hard, be nice, be easy. But that suppression comes with a cost, because what's being silenced isn't evil, it's strength, it's instinct. It's the part of a man that rises when there's danger, the part that stands up when others fall down, the part that says, I'll carry this. When everyone else backs away, that's the warrior. And if you bury him too deep, when the storm finally hits, you won't be ready. The warrior isn't just about combat, it's about presence, it's about grit, it's about the ability to suffer with purpose and move forward anyway. He's the part of you that can endure loss, face failure, confront fear, and still keep walking. He doesn't run, he doesn't flinch, and most importantly, he doesn't lie to himself. The warrior tells the truth even when it cuts deep, even when it's ugly, because he knows the truth is what gives him power. Power over weakness, power over chaos, power over the voices in his head that say, you can't. And here's the secret. Every man needs to face that inner war at some point. You don't become a warrior by reading about it or pretending it's already in you. You become one by being tested. You become one by stepping into discomfort willingly, by taking responsibility for your life when it would be so much easier to point fingers, by choosing the hard path not because it's glamorous, but because it forges you into something greater. The warrior within you is not some fantasy. It's not some costume you wear when things get tough. It's real, and it's built moment by moment, choice by choice. You build him every time you show up when you don't feel like it. Every time you bite your tongue when your ego wants to lash out. Every time you dig deep and push forward when your body says stop. That's when he rises, that's when he sharpens, that's when he becomes unbreakable. So don't ignore that part of yourself. Don't apologize for it. Don't bury it to fit into a world that's uncomfortable with strength. Train it, own it, let it serve your higher purpose. Because there will come a day when that warrior will be needed, not just for you, but for the people who are counting on you, and when that day comes you'll either rise, or you'll regret not waking him up sooner. Certainly, here's an emotional, powerful 500-word expansion of courage over comfort, delivered in a motivational and intense tone, designed to resonate deeply with the listener. There's a war going on inside every man, a battle between the pull of comfort and the call for courage. And the hardest thing any man will ever have to do is choose courage over comfort, because comfort is seductive. It whispers to you, just relax, take it easy, you've done enough, you deserve a break. And that voice feels good. It feels safe. It feels like relief after a long day, like a soft pillow after a hard fight. But here's the truth. Comfort will destroy you. It will rob you of everything that makes you strong. It will lull you into a life of mediocrity, where you do just enough to get by, but never enough to live with purpose. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Courage, on the other hand, is the voice that tells you to stand up when you want to hide. Courage is what wakes you up at 5 a.m. when the world is still asleep, pushing you to chase a vision, to meet your potential. Courage doesn't promise you ease. It doesn't offer you shortcuts. What courage offers is the ability to face the difficult, the uncomfortable, and the unknown, and rise anyway. Courage is the quiet voice that says, you've got this, when everything inside you is screaming to quit. It's the fire that burns in your chest when you choose to fight, even when victory is uncertain. But comfort keeps you where you are. It keeps you small. It keeps you passive. It keeps you from taking risks, from stepping into the arena, from doing the hard thing that you know will change your life. It keeps you stuck in the patterns of the familiar, the safe, the predictable. But there's no power in that. There's no transformation in comfort. You don't grow by staying where you are. You don't become who you were meant to be by sitting on the sidelines. Comfort is not the place where men rise. Courage is. And here's the kicker. Courage is learned. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly become a courageous man. No, courage is something you practice. It's the choice to step into fear, to take on the challenge, even when you're not sure you'll succeed. It's the willingness to risk failure, knowing that failing is just part of the process. You don't get stronger by avoiding discomfort. You get stronger by embracing it, by facing it head on and pushing through. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you build your character, your resolve, your endurance. You become a man who refuses to let fear dictate his actions. So when life knocks on your door and says, it's time to step up, don't retreat into comfort. Don't hide behind excuses, behind the false security of what you know. Step forward, face it, embrace the discomfort, because that's where the magic happens. That's where the growth lies. Courage over comfort, every single time. And when you make that choice, day in and day out, you'll realize that courage doesn't just change your life. It makes you the man you were always meant to be. Certainly. Here is the expanded version of responsibility builds strength, crafted with an emotional, motivational tone that is designed to be impactful, intense, and deeply human. Responsibility is the weight that no one wants to carry, but it's the one thing that will give you strength in this world. Most people run from responsibility because it feels heavy. It feels like a burden. It feels like an extra load to carry when they're already struggling just to keep their head above water. But here's the truth. Without responsibility, you're weak. You're untested, you're drifting. It's responsibility that forges men into something greater. It's the act of choosing to stand tall, even when the world around you is crumbling. It's the ability to take on the burdens of others and carry them with honor, even when you feel like you might break. Look at any great man in history, and you'll see a man who embraced responsibility. He didn't run from it. He didn't try to avoid it. He took it on, even when it wasn't easy. He understood that responsibility was the fire that would mold him into something stronger, something more capable, something that could make a real difference in the world, and that's exactly what it does. It makes you capable. It makes you rise to the occasion, even when everything inside you is screaming for you to quit, for you to leave it all behind, for you to give up and walk away. Responsibility doesn't just build strength, it reveals it. When you take on a responsibility, you show the world, and yourself, what you're made of. When you stand up and say, "I'll take care of this," even when it's difficult, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one else is watching, you become something greater. You become someone others can rely on. You become someone who can face the chaos of life and say, "I've got this." And when you do that, when you choose to take on more responsibility than anyone expects, you build your inner resolve. You fortify your character. You prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way. Most people are afraid of responsibility because it's uncomfortable. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, your fears, your limitations. It demands that you grow, that you rise, that you become more than what you were. But that's exactly why you need it. Without responsibility, you'll stay small, you'll stay stagnant, you'll stay in the same place, spinning your wheels, never moving forward. Responsibility forces you to evolve. It forces you to step outside of your comfort zone and become something more than just another passive observer of life. It demands that you engage, that you participate, that you contribute to something bigger than yourself. And here's the catch. Once you embrace responsibility, you'll realize something profound. It's not just about making you stronger, it's about making the world around you stronger. When you take responsibility for your actions, for your family, for your community, for your life, you become the anchor that others can lean on. You become the rock in a world that's constantly shifting. And that is the kind of strength that is built through responsibility. It's the kind of strength that doesn't just benefit you, it benefits everyone you come into contact with. It's the kind of strength that lasts, because it's rooted in the truth that the strongest man is the one who carries the most weight, and carries it with grace. Absolutely. Here's a powerful, motivational 500-word expansion of Controlled Chaos Beats Passive Peace, designed with emotional intensity, clear focus, and a message of strength and action. The world we live in is chaotic. It's unpredictable, it's messy, and it's often downright unforgiving. To pretend that it isn't is to live in denial. Too many people strive for passive peace. They want everything calm, calm, calm. No conflict, no struggle, no friction, and for a time that kind of peace may feel good. It may feel comfortable, but here's the truth. Passive peace is fragile. It's easily shattered. It's based on the illusion that everything will remain calm if you simply avoid the storms. But storms are inevitable. Sooner or later, that peaceful, calm world will crumble. The first wave of real chaos will knock you off your feet, and you'll find yourself unprepared, helpless, and lost. True peace isn't passive. It's not about hiding from the world's mess. It's about controlling the chaos within you so that no matter what happens around you, you can stand firm. Peace doesn't come from avoiding the storm. It comes from learning to navigate it. Controlled chaos is the only real kind of peace, the peace that's forged in fire, the peace that's built on the foundation of strength, resilience, and purpose. The man who has mastered his inner chaos is the one who can step into any situation, whether it's a fight, a challenge, or a crisis, and face it without flinching. He doesn't shy away from the mess. He doesn't look for an easy way out. He steps up, takes control, and uses the chaos to fuel his purpose. Too often, we think of peace as the absence of struggle, as the absence of conflict. But the truth is, conflict is an inevitable part of life. You cannot escape it. You cannot hide from it. You can only prepare for it, and that preparation comes when you accept the chaos within yourself, the parts of you that are wild, untamed, even dangerous, and learn how to control them. A man who can control his own inner storm can withstand any external one. He is the calm in the chaos. He is the eye of the hurricane. When you choose to face the chaos head on, you choose to grow. You choose to become someone who can handle pressure, who can think clearly in the midst of crisis, who can act decisively when others are paralyzed with fear. The man who embraces controlled chaos doesn't wait for life to hand him peace. He creates it. He rises above the noise and the confusion, and he becomes the anchor for others. He understands that peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from the courage to dive into it, to wrestle with it, and to emerge stronger on the other side. A passive life, on the other hand, is a life lived in fear. It's a life that avoids confrontation, that avoids hard choices, that hides from anything uncomfortable. But that kind of life won't make you stronger. It won't make you a man of substance. It will only make you weak, small, and invisible. To be truly strong, you must learn to control the chaos. You must master the storm within you. And in doing so, you will create a lasting peace that is unshakable, peace that is resilient, peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you have the strength to face it.